Well, good morning. We're back up at the cabin. Gonna do a whole bunch of work this weekend. This will be a much longer video. We are having some installations done from Ryan at Canadian Off-Grid Depot. We're doing an incinerating toilet in the master cabin, as well as a couple of heaters for the big cabin, as well as the boys' sleeping bunkie. But we got a lot of work to do. We left this place alone for a little too long. We got to get the grass cut. As you can see, things are getting a little wild back here, so always lots of work to do up at the off-grid cabin, but follow along. We got some interesting things happening this weekend. So as you can see, this is all grown up like crazy. I'm gonna have to move some stuff out of the way. If we get back over to the part that we just completed last time, it's actually nice to see a little bit of grass growing in here. I'll have to throw some seed down this fall. We'll just sort of let this naturally take over. But I'm gonna get on the riding lawnmower and clean this up a little bit. And just for reference too, because we check it all the time, this area over here that was forestry mulched, you know, there's some stuff popping up here and there. I'm not super concerned about this right now. I'll come back with the tractor and wipe out some of the weeds and stuff, but eventually I'm thinking I'm gonna plant clover, or I don't know what I'm gonna plant. Any suggestions would be helpful. I really don't want it to be high maintenance. We're not here enough to keep it beautiful, but I also want it to be nice and soft underfoot and to be able to, oh my goodness, look at some of these ones back here. Those are like 4 or 5 feet tall. So I've got a bunch of work to do here. But this is what you get, what you pay for, right? This is an off-grid property that we're not living at full time. The forest is in full canopy, which is great. The birds chirping to wake me up this morning. And of course, the family compound is coming together nicely. So we got a bunch of installs happening. I gotta fix my flag. One of the little clips came off. But follow along as we get some work done here. Well, we haven't been in the main cabin for a while. Let's open this thing up and see how she looks. So far, we're batting 1,000. Coming up here and everything's right where it should be. Looks good again today. Doesn't smell weird. This little thing is amazing. That's always just full. We just don't do anything. We don't touch it at all. It's got a little panel in the window. Looks like everything is where it should be. I don't see any signs of anything having been moved. That's great. No squatters, whether the human or rodent kind. That's always what we want to see. What a mess. Time to get to work. Well, we're getting there. Cleaning up around here just a little bit, but of course, nothing ever goes easy. I was cutting some grass in the back here, and then suddenly the mower spit out a blade. Never had that happen before. So anyways, it's a beauty day. Deer flies are out a bit, no big deal though. And we are just waiting for Ryan to get up here so we can get going on some installations. And it's summer up at the Bray. What a beauty. I should have solar panels charging right now. Well, here we are, the big day. Canadian Off-Grid Depot's here. Ryan, what are we doing today?
Putting in a wall heater, 2 wall heaters,
Yeah.
and an incinerating toilet.
Amazing. So Ryan is the owner of Canadian Off-Grid Depot. He's got everything that you need for your off-grid cabins, bunkies, whatever. We're doing a 12,000 BTU heater.
Yeah.
In this bunkie. That's a really nice Martin unit with a glass front on it, so you can actually see the fire burning. And then we're doing a 20,000 BTU heater in the Simcoe style building. This is Chris. Hey Chris.
How's it going?
Thanks for your help today.
Hey, no problem.
So we're gonna get out of their way, but we're also the pièce de résistance today is the Cinderella
Incinerating toilet.
Right, so we're gonna put in, we don't want septic or anything up here. We're completely off grid. So that Cinderella Incinerating toilet, propane version.
Propane Freedom model.
Freedom model, so that's gonna go in the bathroom here. I still have some flooring to put in, but over the next couple of hours, the guys are gonna start on the Bancroft bunkie first, and then we'll get the heater in the Simcoe, and then we'll get the toilet into the back of that. So lots happening up here at the Bray, and thank you so much.
No problem.
For making it happen, buddy. Remember, CanadianOffGridDepot.com.
Yes.
Okay, so we got the floor in the bathroom as much as we need to. We'll have to get the shower pan in here to make sure we have enough room, and then the Cinderella is going to go right next to it and go right through this wall. That'll be the last project I think that we'll do. This is the heater that we're using in the main cabin. So this is a 20,000 BTU direct vent propane made by Martin. Ryan highly recommends these, and I trust him. So we're gonna throw this one in here. It's probably too big for this space, but when it's minus 30, we won't regret that. So let's make our way over to the small cabin. The kids' bunkie, the guys are working away, getting everything oriented. We're gonna square it up and center it on the inside of the building. I'll just take you around back here and show you some of the progress. So this is the vent that comes right through. So the guys cut the battens out. That's gonna hold the collar that holds the heater in there. And then there's a really simple jig that they use to put it on the inside. I think it's simple, right?
Everything's simple. Yeah, right here. Come take a look.
Yeah, let's have a peek here. Mid progress. So they give you this template if you're gonna do it yourself. So you just put that right on the wall where you want it.
Right about there. Tape it.
So the holes that you have in here, Ryan, were those, did you punch those or drill them, or how's that work?
So you find your center, and then we do the clock to make it easier with the jigsaw. So you're not fighting your jigsaw.
Right.
You get relief cuts.
So this circular area is where the collar is going to go through the wall.
Yeah.
That's going to protect the wall from the heat, and the actual heater itself is going to be about yay big. So we're making progress. You guys work fast.
Not our first rodeo.
Yeah, I love that. All right, we'll leave you be. So now the vent goes through the collar here. What'd you say, Ryan? It sticks out about 11 inches?
Yeah, about that.
Looks about like a foot.
It's going to land about there.
Yeah, so here now we have on the back of the building, just so you know, if you're looking at getting one of these, that's what you can expect. And then it diffuses the heat at the back, which is on the other side of the soffit here. So it will likely get some drips on it. What's the material made of on the actual vent itself, Ryan?
It's aluminum.
Aluminum, and then it looks like galvanized steel.
Yeah.
So it should be resistant to rust. We'll see.
You could throw like a heat-treated trim on it if you wanted.
Okay, I guess there's a trim package you can throw on there too.
No, trim clad.
Trim clad. Oh, okay. I mean, I'm not allergic to the look of that. It's really about function here. And now we're almost good with the first heater. Look at this guy even vacuuming up after the install.
Absolutely, gotta keep it clean.
This is what you can expect from the folks here at Canadian Off-Grid Depot. Nice work, Chris. Okay, so we're just gonna do some test fitting. I'd rather have the toilet under the window, but I don't want to look at the chimney pipe. And this is how the shower base looks. So we have what looks to be enough space beside it to get the incinerating toilet in, but we got to make sure that there's enough room. We may have to offset the the bathroom vanity. We have a little small vanity, so it looks like we're going to be able to make this work. They're going to do the toilet next. One heater done, toilet coming up. Okay, folks, so now we got the vanity in here. This is the Cinderella propane, the Freedom, I think it's called.
The Freedom.
The Cinderella Freedom propane incinerating toilet. So we think this is the layout. And then I'm gonna ask Ryan to come in here and just chat with us a little bit, because there's a bit of a process or a procedure that you need to do to use the toilet. So it cannot use air from the existing space that it's in, right?
No, it needs fresh combustion air because it does burn.
So now we're just trying to figure out this little vent right here that clicks open. needs to be opened in order to make the Freedom work. So
Burn properly, yeah, essentially.
So it needs fresh air from outside.
Yeah.
Right.
So we either put a 4.5-inch hole underneath the toilet to the outside, so it draws air in from underneath, fresh air for combustion, or you have this device that was made by Cinderella out of Norway, and it goes through the wall, so it would sit essentially flush. You open it the entire time it's doing its combustion, and then you can close it so there's no more outside air coming in. So,
right. So pros and cons. This one can actually be closed, and it's weatherproof from the outside. Bugs won't get into it. If we do the hole underneath the toilet, it's going to be permanently open with a coarse mesh, right? So we could have infiltration from the critters, which we're gonna avoid, I think. So we're gonna put this one in based on Ryan's suggestion, and it's gonna go down into this corner beside the vanity. And now we have to remember when we use the toilet to open that so we get fresh air into the environment. Okay, so we're nearing the end of the mission here. The boys are just putting the collar in for the heater for this building, which is the much larger one. Just gonna go in here and show you what they've been up to. So we're going right through the wall. In here we got this mostly figured out. We got a switch in for the toilet. And we're gonna hook the chimney up to that eventually. The gas will get connected at some point in the future. But we're getting there. It's a lot of work putting this stuff in. Got power to run from the 12 volt to run the incinerating toilet. The gas is in. That's going to feed the incinerating toilet as well as the heater. Chris did a nice job of hiding all the copper underneath the building to get on over there. We're almost done. So that's our hole for our vent. Just so you know, when you buy stuff from Ryan at Canadian Off-Grid Depot, he is meticulous and careful and a super hard worker. And this is coming together really, really well, folks. Okay, Ryan, so what's going on here? What step are we at here?
we're at the final ventilation piece. So this is the termination cap. It's got to be 2 feet above your roof line. The nice part about the venting is that it's a press vent.
Oh, that's cool.
It comes down, and it's specific to the Freedom model because it's gas. It holds it in place so it can't come out.
So that captures the pipe below it?
Yeah, it clamps it together so it can never pull.
That's cool.
And then we have brackets, a threaded rod that comes out.
Yeah, like this guy here. So we're gonna put a second one on. Chris is gonna space that one out, and we stand it off the roof. That's pretty cool. Okay, Ryan, so now we have a fully operational Cinderella Freedom propane toilet.
Let's make sure the DC volts feeding to it works.
That seems good. Green lights are good.
Software, languages.
Yeah, we definitely want English. I can cut. Oh! Ready for use?
Fan starts. We're ready to do its trial run.
Okay, so in this case, we actually have an on-off switch on our Cinderella because we're not here full time. So when we leave camp, we're gonna turn this thing off, right?
Yeah, just hit the switch.
So that disconnects the toilet from the battery.
It doesn't drain your system.
So he just killed it. So now when we leave here,
After an incineration cycle's done, don't kill the power mid-cycle.
right, so it'll tell us though on the screen if the cycle's complete, right?
Yes, yeah, it'll say cool down mode. You want it to
Okay.
get past the cool down mode and be in standby.
Right. Okay. fair bit to learn here, but once we get it figured out, it'll just be old hat. And now we turn our poop into ash. Okay, folks, so a bunch of work done here, and here's the finished product in the sleeping cabin. So this is the 12,000 BTU, or 11,000, 12,000, one of those two. Martin direct vent propane heater. You can actually see the flame through this glass, which is really awesome. And that's likely an oversized unit for a building this small. This is only a 10 by 16 building, but for the sake of, you know, making sure that in the wintertime we'll have lots of heat, this is the source now for the kids' bunkie. And the best part about these is they do not require any electricity whatsoever. There's a piezo ignition. You light your pilot and you fire this thing up, and now this building has heat while the boys sleep in the wintertime. Pretty cool. So here's how the ventilation looks on the, I just got to clean up some garbage here. Looks on the side of the building. So that's where our heat's going to come out of. And we'll take you on in here and show you the big 20,000 BTU version. I got a bit of a mess here to clean up, so forgive me. But look at that. So this is the 20,000 BTU Martin direct vent propane heater. And again, it has that window where you can see the fire going through it. It's summer, right? So I'm not going to turn it on. It heats up quickly. It's very quiet. So far, very happy with that. And pretty pleased with the install that Ryan and Chris did from Canadian Off-Grid Depot. And then the pièce de résistance. This is our Cinderella Freedom Incinerating toilet that runs on propane. So Ryan wired in a switch for us so that we can turn it off when we're not up here. This thing is really cool. So you get in here, you throw in a liner, you do your business, you hit the button, and you leave it. So the tricky part about this setup is, of course, you know, you got to go through the wall with all the ventilation. The gas is coming into this unit, but it also does require a 12 volt power source. So I have a 12 volt battery hooked up to this right now, which we will in time, probably tomorrow, connect that to a solar panel, build a little box for the battery with the charge controller. So the battery for this always takes on some solar power. My challenge at this property is it's bush almost everywhere. So we're going to put a big panel in that hopefully captures enough energy from diffused light or not direct sunlight, and see how that works. But very happy with this. It's gone through its testing, and we now have a toilet with no need for a septic. So I'm hoping my wife's going to be pretty happy. Well, folks, thanks for watching. That wraps up this version of what's going on at Highlands Off-Grid. This cabin we didn't do any work on this time around, and it also didn't get a propane heater. We don't really have any place to put one in here, so this one's wood stove only, which is fine. We've been using it that way for years. My family's coming up in the next couple of days, so I'll be sure to tidy up a little bit more. But we're so pleased to say that we now have the amenities that we've always wanted in the other buildings. So in this cabin, we now have that 20,000 BTU heater plus the incinerating toilet. And that's pretty much done. Just got some trim to do on the flooring. I'm gonna hang up some lighting actually in there. Maybe we'll take a video, have the BioLite something home. Anyways, it's kind of a cool little system that has its own solar panel and whatnot. And then of course this building here, we have the smaller Martin direct vent propane heater. So this building won't get any lights. We'll just use battery powered stuff in here. Keep it simple. Always keeping everything as simple as possible. So that's life at the cabin on this trip here for now. And we hope to see you next time. Thanks for watching. Please consider liking our video, subscribing. It really helps get the word out. And I also own a business called Highland Outbuildings. We build stuff like this. So if you're interested in a bunkie or a cabin for your property, check out highlandoutbuildings.com. Cheers.